Okay, I see Milton, Peter Russell, see Wayne Craig. Are we good to go, folks?
Chair.
Was that a yes?
Yes, Mr. Chair.
Okay. All right. Okay, so I'll call the meeting of the Development Permit Panel to order for March 16, 22. The first, well, maybe I'll just introduce the panel today. On the panel, we have Peter Russell, our Director of Sustainability at the City. We also have Milton Chan, our Director of Engineering. And my name is Joe Urseg. I'm the General Manager of Planning. So the panel, we've got two items of business today. We look at development permits and development variance permits. And so the general order of business for each item will be that we'll hear a presentation from the applicants. We will receive comments from city staff. We'll take any public comments on board. And then the panel will make a recommendation or make a decision about whether to recommend the project to council for approval. And I think with that, just looking at the agenda, the first item is to adopt some minutes that were of a meeting held on January the 12th. So if there's no additions or deletions, is there someone to move that? To move? Okay. Second? Okay. Consider them adopted. So that brings us to the first item. It's a development permit. The property location is 8231 and 8251 Williams Road. And the purpose of this development permit is to allow for construction of 10 townhouse units on the site. And there is a variance to increase the amount of small car parking spaces. And that increases from 0 to 6 spaces. So I think 30% of the parking on the site. So with that, who's going to present this item?
Me.
Okay.
Shidong Zhao.
Okay, just start with your name and address for the record, and then let us know what you want to tell us about this project.
Okay. My name is Shidong Zhao from Zhao XD Architect Limited. So I will make some introduction of the project. This is a 10-unit townhouse development located at 8231, 8251 Williams Road. Based on city's planning policy in OCP, a 3-story townhouse can be developed. The site is located in a planning area designated a neighborhood residential in OCP. We follow the arterial road policy, the OCP, and the bylaw 9000 for this townhouse development along the arterial road that is outside the city center. This development site meets the arterial road policy, the requirement. Our proposed design is a low-density townhouse, RTL4 with FSR 0.6 proposed. A pedestrian walkway is designed in the middle of the property, connects the Williams Road and the site, and the internal driveway is accessed through the neighboring development on east. This development consists of 4 buildings, 2 triplex buildings at the front, and 2 duplex buildings on the rear. Portions of Building 1 and Building 2 that have a direct interface with the neighboring single-family house are designed with 2 stories in building height within the 7.5 meters setback from both east and west. Facing the rear side yard, the buildings number 3 and number 4 are all 2 stories. The site context is mainly a single-family house style. A few townhouse developments already built or still in the planning process. The neighboring property on east is proposed to be a townhouse development already in a final planning application approval process. A few property away to east is a 14-unit townhouse development already completed. Several lots away on west is a 16-unit townhouse development also already completed with a similar architecture style. Sloped roofs are proposed as the main architectural character for the building design, which is consistent to existing single-family house and townhouse developments in this neighborhood, emphasizing the residential building character, which both building massing and details. Along Williams Road, our building design are covered with sloped roofs, reducing the height from the 3-story in the middle to 2-story at both east and west ends to minimize the height difference to the adjacent existing homes. Culture stone are proposed for columns and the building base as additional accent in contrast to hardy siding cladding in general. Buildings along the rear are 2-story buildings, also with sloped roofs, provide architectural appearance that can minimize the visual impact to the neighboring single-family homes. We made a lot of efforts in our design in order to preserve a mature tree in the middle of site. The design for the units D2 and E are made to accommodate the required tree protection zone to preserve this tree. A walkway is proposed between Building 1 and Building 2 for a pedestrian access from the street to the site, also to the outdoor amenity space. This walkway in relation to the preserved tree makes an ideal combination both in walkway and also for this preserved tree. The arch gate is proposed between the front buildings to emphasize the presence of the pedestrian walkway as a gate to achieve this space, to articulate this space, to make the walkway more significant instead of just a leftover space between buildings. This architecture treatment also enhanced a background as a focal point for this preserved tree. As a public and semi-public, a good animation for their interface was this public realm. The site layout, massing, and the landscape design are well considered of the sun shading impact. The outdoor amenity space is well properly landscaped, is prominently located in the middle of the site and also at the rear of the site. It is in alignment with the pedestrian walkway for both functionality and aesthetics. Private outdoor space are also provided for each townhouse unit. Convertible units are proposed for future conversion to the accessible units, which are located at a secure portion of the internal driveway unit and for both maneuvering and convenience. The requirements of aging in place and accessibility are all considered in the design. All design details and dimensions will comply with the design guidelines. We use more sustainable material, such as hardy siding, as a primary cladding material for the building. Wood trims for windows and doors are used on the exterior elevation. Permeable paver allows maximum stormwater infiltration. The sustainability strategy has been taken for this development, including the energy saving with a study and the proposal by the certified energy advisor. Every building will achieve the applicable DC building code requirements and follow the city required energy step code standard, efficient mechanics system, and a reduction in air leakage will reduce the heating and cooling costs. Insulation below the concrete slab, insulation in the walls, in roof, and in exposed floors improves the thermal performance of each building, which we compare them with the standard house built in this way that we used to build. A certified energy advisor is engaged for this project. A proper HVAC system will be selected to increase livability, energy saving, and efficiency. The townhouse units comes with a conduit wrapped in to adapt for future solar panel installations. Accessibility is important as we consider for our convertible units to follow city's requirements. The site is located in a transit-friendly area. Wheelchair circulation routes are designed for accessibility, both for the internal driveway and also for the pedestrian walkway, directly from the Williams Road to the townhouse units and the amenity area. Our design is guided by the principle of the safety, the crime prevention through environmental design. We implement the measures such as natural access control, natural surveillance, and the territoriality, the defensible space. Natural access control means that unit entry and the vehicle access are exposed, as well as the low fence and the low landscaping. Space between buildings are exposed to windows on building side elevation for overlooking. Buildings facing the streets, facing the internal driveway, will provide surveillance, including surveillance through the windows and the balconies and the decks. Side lighting and a clear sightline provides unobstructed views of the surrounding area. Landscaping, planting, and the fence near the unit entry are low in height to maximize the views. The landscape for this project has been designed to incorporate the existing trees, working with or arborist for the tree retention. Oh, by the way, I have a very simple animation. Maybe you can take a look with the share.
I think that, well, a couple of comments. Number one, I think for future, it would be better to actually speak to the design drawings, like share them on the screen and speak to them.
Mm-hmm.
But I think for today, look, this is a fairly small, well-resolved project. I don't think we need to look at an animation.
Oh, good.
But you know, I think that next time your presentation should include the proper design material.
Okay. I thought that you already have the PDF for the.
Yeah.
Sure.
I'm not going to drag you back through it all because it's not a big project. But if it was more significant, I think we probably would do it. I think at this point we can hear some brief comments from the landscape designer.
Oh yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ma'am, you're muted.
My apologies.
There you go.
My name is Denisa Dimitrova, PMG Landscape Architect. As was mentioned already, we work with arborists and architects together to preserve two trees at south property line, one cherry and magnolia trees, existing.
Excuse me.
There.
Did you want to share screen so we can actually see what you're referring to?
Can I ask architect to share, because I'm talking with from my phone.
I will try.
The L1, the color plan. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Yes, see?
Can you zoom it? Like, make it full screen?
It's quite small. Mm.
The better?
No.
Is there anyone that can lend a hand here or from staff? Well, that didn't work, did it?
No, it was clear.
Oh, there we go.
Oh.
Yes.
Okay, much better. Yes.
Yes. It's the tree between the two buildings, 1 and 2.
Mm-hmm.
And the second one we're retaining is the cherry at the south east corner. It's just next to the sidewalk. We are retaining existing grade there, and all construction work to be done under arborist supervision. That's rule. We are provided every unit with private yards, with shade tree, patio, lawn area, and it's landscaped with shrubs, grasses, perennials. Streetscape has been improved with low aluminum fence, transparent, with setback to accommodate interesting visual plant material. Privacy from neighboring property has been created with 6 feet wood fence. It's typical. We are having like 4 feet fence just along that part where we have low retaining wall. It's at the driveway and visitor parking spot at east side. Privacy between the units have been created with fencing and landscape. It's again typical. We're proposing play area at north side at the back between building 4 and 3. This play area provides multiple kids at the end. Multiple kids in different.
Excuse me, can you mute your mic, please, Mr. Jot?
Yes.
I think you're interrupting the presentation. Can you mute?
Thank you. Display equipment provides different play opportunities. We have sliding, climbing, balancing, and many kids can use it. Also, there is a bench for caregivers. There is a bike rack at the main entry to the site from the street. And permeable pavers are proposed for visitor parking spots and on a driveway. So this is overview for proposed landscape design.
Okay, thank you for your comments. I think at this stage we'll hear from city staff, and then we'll see whether there are any questions for the designers or city staff. Mr. Craig?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Just a couple comments. There is a servicing agreement associated with this development for frontage works and site services. The frontage works will include the installation of a 2-meter wide sidewalk along Williams Road, in keeping with recent council direction for wider sidewalks on arterial roads. There is a variance associated with the project for small car parking. This is a rather technical variance in nature. The zoning bylaw does not allow small car stalls on sites that provide less than 31 total parking stalls, which this site does. The small car stalls are provided in the side-by-side oriented garages. Similar variances have been granted to similar scale townhouse projects. Other than that, I would just like to thank the applicant and their team for their efforts to retain the trees on the Williams Road frontage. Thank you.
Yeah, great. Thanks, mate. Okay, are there any questions from panel members for the applicant or city staff?
Mr. Chair, I had just a question. I'm looking at the design panel comments, and I note in discussions related to solar heat gain, et cetera, there's a note that one window from unit F is removed. I'm wondering if that is what's shown in the package. If that window is shown, is it a south-facing window? I'm on page 26 of 60 in the online agenda item.
The window is, you mean, facing the Williams Road?
I'm asking you.
Okay.
Essentially, it just notes that one window from unit F is removed, and I'm asking if that's what's shown in the plan that we're looking at today, with the window removed, or is that window on the plan?
So, Mr. Russell, your question is whether the elevation plans that we have are accurate, or whether a window was removed.
On the front, I mean, if it's in the side elevation or the rear elevation, I guess that makes sense.
That's a pretty simple question. Are your plans up to date or not? Is the window gone?
The window is the way we're calling it was energy. Like this option is that it's a good idea to have that washroom with the window with natural lighting. But if for the energy wise, for the energy saving, we may remove it.
So that decision will be made down the road. Is that correct?
That's right, but we think it's very minor. This is minor because it won't impact the aesthetics on the street elevation. But we always have keep those options for better optimize the project.
Okay, Mr. Craig, Mr. Rockaby, you're good with that? Mr. Rockaby?
Yeah, if I may interject, Mr. Chair, I can confirm that one of the windows from the south elevation fronting Williams Road that appeared in the ADP drawings that were commented on the ADP, one of those windows has been removed from the second floor.
So the plan package that you've given the panel is up to date, is that correct?
Yeah, so the plan package that the panel has reflects the removal of one window from Unit F.
Okay.
Great, thank you, Mr. Chair. I have no further questions then.
Okay, thanks. Mr. Chan, do you have any questions?
Just one quick question to staff. Is there a cross-access agreement in place that, in case it's required for the property to the west?
Yes. Where we use a shared driveway.
Mr. Rockaby, if you could please respond.
Yeah, I can elaborate on that. So through the chair, the approved development to the east, one of the conditions of approval was registration of a statutory right-of-way for cross-access. At the time of their application, staff did require the owner of that site and the owner of this site at the time to meet to discuss how that access would work. Since that meeting has occurred, the property ownership of the subject site has changed, and staff would intend that the new owner would have similar discussions with the developer to the east to formalize a sharing agreement prior to the stratas being formed. In addition, the developer of the current property would be required to register a reciprocal cross-access agreement, allowing access to this property from the neighboring site.
Thank you.
Okay, great. Any other? I don't have any questions. It seems straightforward enough. So, Mr. Craig, do we have any public comments on this one? Anything written?
Nothing, Mr. Chair.
Is there anyone in attendance today that wants to comment regarding this project?
No one, Mr. Chair.
Okay, great. Okay, so that brings us to panel deliberation. I don't know whether anyone wants to make comments. I guess I'll look for someone to move the staff recommendation.
Moved.
Seconded, Mr. Russell. Okay, any comments before I call the question? Okay, so all those in favour? Opposed? It's carried. Thank you for your project.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, we'll just allow a minute or two for the first applicant folks to leave. Okay, so the next item that we have on the agenda is a development variance permit. The applicant is Spira Ventures Incorporated. The property location is 10620 Williams Road, and the development variance is to reduce the rear yard setback from 6 meters to 3 meters, and to permit the private outdoor space to be located in the front yard instead of the rear yard. I guess all for the purpose of trying to save a cedar tree on the site. So who's the applicant on this one?
Hi there, I'm the applicant, Jeffrey Wu.
Okay, Jeff, do you have any comments? Before you get into any comments, just name and address. We've got your name, just your address for our record.
Yep, the address is 10620 Williams Road for the project.
Okay, so is there anything you want to tell us about this one?
Yep, do you want me to just go ahead with the presentation, sir?
Sure, if you have one. Again, it seems relatively straightforward. So if you have an abbreviated version, that would be fine, I think.
Yep, no worries. I can just quickly share the screen.
I was told to bring the team here, so the designer and the landscape architect are here. Do you think it'll be necessary for them to stay, or should I tell them that it's okay for them to leave?
Well, I think they're here now. Let them stay. We're not going to be hours, are we? They're going to bill you the same, Jeff. It's not going to matter. It's not going to make any difference. Hey, I got a laugh from Mary. There you go.
Just quickly, I'm going full screen right now. Is everyone able to see this?
We can. Thank you.
Okay. Zoom share. Sorry, can everyone see the screen because it says it's paused?
Yeah, yes, we can, or at least I can. Can other members of the panel?
see it.
Yeah. Okay.
There.
Good.
Perfect. Good. So there's two variances for this project on 10620 Williams Road. The reason for bringing the rear setback from 6 meters to 3.1 meters for lot 2, which is on the east end of the lot of the subdivision, is to push back the building envelope to accommodate the existing cedar tree coniferous tree in the front yard.
Mm-hmm.
By pushing back the building envelope, we're able to save the tree through a deck design that will involve a deck that is raised from the ground. So we're not going to compact any soil onto the existing soil to save the tree, but we're building a deck on top with Project Arborist supervision. They'll be using an air spade to clear the roots, and then we will be using sonotubes, which is basically these tubes that you fill with concrete to act as the foundation for the wood joists, and then build a deck on top. So doing this will have limited impact on the existing cedar tree, and then so that's why we're pushing the house back. For the second variance, which is the private outdoor space relocation, once we push the house back, the space for the legal suite for the private outdoor space is limited. Because of this effort to save the tree, we're asking for the relocation to be in the front yard. So the tenants and the owners can share the front yard usage of the front yard deck.
Perfect. Okay, is there anyone else presenting on this? No? Okay, we can probably drop the share screen then so we can get back to the... Okay, well, it seems pretty logical to me. Mr. Craig, do you have comments?
Nothing to add, Mr. Chair. Would just like to commend the applicant on their efforts to retain the tree.
Yeah, here. And so with that, I'll ask whether there's anyone from the public that would like to comment.
There's none, Mr. Chair.
No. Perfect. And nothing written, right?
Nothing, Mr. Chair.
Yeah. Okay, so there's a positive staff recommendation. Did we deal with questions from the panel?
Not yet. I just had one, Mr. Chair.
Oh, I bet. Well, I actually forgot. Okay, let's deal with any questions for the applicant or for staff. Peter, what do you got?
I just had a question with respect to the arborist report. To what extent will the branches be trimmed to accommodate the building and the deck?
Sorry, Mr. Russell, can you repeat? Did you say bridges?
The branches. So
the branches. Yeah.
The branches that are currently overhanging the lawn, presumably they'll be trimmed to a certain height. And I was just wondering to what extent is that detailed?
Yeah, so currently the tree is, the arborist already did his first round of pruning. We're just pruning the tree healthily according to usual, I guess, arbor standards in this case. So we're not necessarily cutting off as many branches as we can. We're retaining the tree as it is in its healthy form. However, after we build the deck, we will go for a second round of pruning as long as it is healthy, and the arborist will be either overseeing or they'll be doing the pruning themselves.
Okay, so that the ultimate height will be determined based on the health and the completion of the deck.
Exactly, yeah. But where the branches are right now, like where the drip line is, that drip line stays, and moving the envelope back for lot 2 accommodates the current drip line of the coniferous tree.
Okay, thank you.
Terrific. Milton, do you have anything on this one?
No questions on this one.
Okay, thanks. Wayne, have we already dealt with public comments? I think we have, haven't we?
Yes.
So there's no one here. Okay, I think this is great. I just echo what Wayne said. Just commend you for accommodating the tree. I think it's a great tree, and this is exactly what we want. You know, sort of development that's customized around the assets that are on the site, rather than just, you know, taking everything out. So again, there's the positive staff recommendation. Is there anyone to move it? The Chan. Second, Mr. Russell.
Yes.
Any comments from the panel? Okay, I'll call the question.
Yeah.
Sorry, Peter, did I miss you?
No, I was just going to say nothing further.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, so I'll call the question. All those in favour? Opposed? It's carried. Thank you. Job well done.
Thank you.
Wayne, you had met, is there any new business, Wayne?
No new business, Mr. Chair, but we do not have any items for the scheduled March 30th meeting. The March 30th meeting can be canceled, meaning the next meeting of the panel will be April the 13th.
Okay, now I always forget. Do we need a resolution to cancel March 30th?
Yes, please.
We do. Okay, so Milton, would you move that to cancel March 30th?
Sure.
Yeah, Peter second. And call the question. All those in favour? It's carried, but I want it recorded that I'm opposed. I like meeting. Just kidding. Okay, so with that, we are adjourned. Thanks very much, everyone.
Goodbye.